I've been thinking. I've been thinking about what would the song that Charlie would sing to me, his mother. I thought long and hard about it. And I think about him spending life in prison and all of that stuff. And the only thing I could come up with when I think of Charlie singing to his mama is times have changed and times are strange. Here I come, but I ain't the same. Mama, I'm coming home. Time's gone by, seems to be. You could have been a better mama to me. Mama, I'm coming home. You took me in and you turned me out. Yeah, you had me hypnotized, yeah. Lost and found and turned around like the fire in your eyes. You made me cry, you told me lies, but I can't stand to say goodbye. Mama, I'm coming home. I could be right, I could be wrong. It hurts so bad, it's been so long. Mama, I'm coming home. Oh, I could go on and on. Gosh, Ozzy, rest his soul. I keep thinking of Charlie and my other two children. I'm here tonight to tell you all about what it takes to raise your children. I'm going to give you a preview tonight of my self-published book, Donna Dearest, A Guide to Raising a Winner, and I'm going to give you techniques as the mother that I am. You need to learn all about it. Now, I understand that my eldest son, Robert, he has nothing to do with me. My middle son, Charlie, he's spending life in prison, but that's beside the point. And my youngest, my beautiful princess, Wendi, she hasn't talked to me, but I know deep down she thinks I'm the best mother that ever was. So I need to teach you how to be a good parent, a good mother. And so I have self-published a book, and I want to go over and give you a little preview of it. I think that you will appreciate all the time and effort and my domestic coordinating. For this book, I really need you to be the parent that I know I am. So, let's start off from the beginning. I had to decide how many children I would have and what age difference, to kind of space it out, and I decided 3 years between my 3 children. The reason for this is, I needed to know how many times I was going to actually have sex with Hobby. I thought, well, maybe every 3 years I could lay back and pretend I am something, sexy and beautiful and Harvey, even though Harvey fell asleep in the middle of Wendy's testimony there, he did what he had to do, and thus Me, Donna Adelson, I have three beautiful children, and I am the mother of the century. But also the reason I decided how many children I would have and how that would be spaced out is I want to keep in mind that 3 years apart from each child would give me the optimum time to hone my mommy dearest persona. I want to make sure before I even spread my legs for the first child and down to the third, I had it all figured out. Then also, I could be sure to give each child plenty of time, as they grow from the breast, they start to walk, they start to, get a little bit more about themselves, to pit each other against each other. I do this. Do you understand why I pit my children against one another? It's because I need to develop the competitive spirit. They need to be competitive. They need to win at all costs. So that was the #1 preview of my Mommy Dearest book. But once all three children were actively of age and understanding things a little bit better, I needed to go further. I needed to groom them for success. So, first of all, I will show you a demonstration. I would personally and purposely, I would pour 2 glasses of milk, 1 to Robert and 1 to Charlie. Now, Robert would get more of the milk. Robert would have the milk, and Charlie would have less. But what I taught Charlie is that he would take his cup and he would move it close to Robert's when they were little boys, and he would see that Robert got more milk than he did, right? But then I would get on Robert. I would say, you've got to share, right? So Robert would give Charlie the milk and would probably end up with less milk than Charlie. And I don't understand to this day why Robert did not develop the jealousy, the just madness that Charlie had. But, Robert was trying to be helpful. Also, when Wendi came along, I incorporated the milk strategy. I did it between all three of them. I wanted the competitive spirit. And then next, as soon as the children became preschoolers, I made sure to pick all their friends. And if they ever wanted friends I didn't approve of, I would eliminate all contact with that other child. That other child that isn't good enough to play with my children. If it wasn't possible to eliminate them out of my children's life that I didn't approve of because they were in school, I would just explain. To my children that those other children are just not good enough. They're not, competitive enough. They're not successful enough. That there's something different about them. 9 times out of 10, it was because they were of another race. If they're not Jewish, then by goodness, they weren't allowed around my children. And, folks, the bottom line is, as a parent, we should look at what our children are doing in their social lives, even in preschool, in terms of who they are in contact with. I want them to be in contact with the rich folk. I want them to be in contact with successful families, not none of these over the tracks of different area of town. My children had to hang out with the best. I had to personally think, oh, these parents, they have the same money as Harvey and I. Oh, they're so successful. Poor children. Those poor children didn't have a chance with my children. There were times that I hurt those children's feelings, but it doesn't matter because I am Donna Dearest. And I want my children only around the best. What I think is the best. Of course, this also entails that Mommy Dearest knows the best, and that they should never, my children should never develop their own likes or relationships without me giving them the reason. You have to be selected to be in my children's lives. So next, I want to share with all of you parents out there how to be a parent. You need to teach your child that there are only certain educational and career choices acceptable to you. And, I will tell you, I did not want my children following anything other than what I felt was successful as far as a career. What isn't acceptable is any interest that my children have that doesn't make them lots of money. Money changes everything. Hey, money changes everything. Oh, anyway, money is all that matters. All that matters. I drilled it into my children's head that money is power. Money is all that, it's the whole scheme of life that they will live. And the scheme of life that they would live, I would tell them, is their scheme. I needed to mold my children in the image that I see them in, not what they would develop and say who they were. Forget that they would want to mold their own identities. I needed to continuously, some would say it's brainwashing, but it was really just upbringing. They needed to see themselves as I saw them. Personality isn't important to me, only to the extent that a well-rounded social life that I put together, developing a personality should be strategic, not natural. But a performance is all that they should display. And I was so good at teaching Wendi. She could perform like none other. I noticed when she took the stand that she looked like a deer in headlights at times. And I do recall, I reminisce all them times that I drilled it in her head that she wasn't who she was. She was who I wanted her to be. How about that? And being a mommy dearest, oh, you gonna buy my book? I want you to buy my book. My book is called Donna Dearest, A Guide to Raising a Winner. being a mommy dearest after I successfully teach my children who they are, that my aspirations for their careers is the norm. I so effortlessly. I want them to understand as children growing up into their teen years that it's absolutely normal for me to tell them who they are. I have a checklist of everything my children will have to do when they get married. First and foremost, I want grandchildren. That's non-negotiable. It does not matter if they see children in their marital relationships. They better damn well give me a grandchild. Lots of them. Lots of Jewish children. Yes, Jewish being the word. They got to be Jewish. And that's where Robert and I parted ways. He wants to be with this Indonesian woman and have children with her after he was married to a Jewish woman that I really liked. The bottom line is that I cannot see why Robert wants to be away from me. You know, I am sick and tired of everybody going to Robert's defense. Robert should love his mama. That's just the way it is. They need to be Jewish, financially secure at least. If they gotta have financial security at the beginning, but they've also got to have potential earning increases, potentially an ability to climb the money ladder. I mean, it can't just be this is your husband or this is your wife and this is what you're dealing with. No, they've got to continue to make more and more and more money. They got to be prominent. They've got to be prominent in my eyes because you know what? I'm prominent. I am the absolute superstar of Jewish women who wants Charlie, Wendi, and Robert to understand that prominence means a lot. And I thought, I will tell you now, when Dan Markel had 2 Harvard degrees, I thought Wendi was doing good. But then I realized that, after Wendi soured, I wanted to be sour as well, Move on. Get with Dave. Dave had lots of money. Yeah, it wasn't because Dave was a good fit for Wendi. Oh, yes, Dave, he was the man that was going to give my daughter prominence and lots of money. I have to find them attractive. Say, for instance, create a dating profile for Wendi. And I get to pretend that I am Wendi. I get to live it out. I never got to live it out with Harvey. I want to touch myself because I think that when I developed that dating profile for Wendi and I would send those to Wendi, I got to pretend to be her. Oh, it gave me a little tingle. It gave me a tingle in my jingle. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, yes. Reliving the younger days. Although all 3 of my children have ended up being who they are, I know that I did my best. I did the best that I knew how to do. I wanted them all to know that I was a star on Wheel of Fortune, that I was all of that, and and they could rely on me. I absolutely wanted to live through my children, but I would not allow my children to live for themselves. What do you think, y'all? Could I have foregone the wig and just used my own hair? How about this, y'all? I left this out. Okay, I left this out. Donna was going to talk about the Pez dispenser and how she gave each of her children a Pez dispenser. And it was full. It was full of candy. And Rob would eat one or so here and there, but he would always share his Pez with Charlie and Wendi. And if he wasn't sharing his Pez with Charlie and Wendi, Charlie was stealing it out of Rob's Pez dispenser and eating it himself, or he would take the candy out of Rob's, stealing it, and show his mother that he was sharing with Wendi. What do you think? Huh? Would that have been a good one? How about this one? Check this one out for size. What if Donna would have came on and says, we're talking about education. Well, I'll tell you what. Donna gave the great big star of an A+. But if it wasn't an A+, she gave a little star for an A-. Think about it, y'all. Think about what Donna Adelson did to her children, how they were raised, the domestic coordinator, the woman that stayed at home with their children. You know, folks, I'm here to tell you that you can do the best job you know how to do. And I'm not talking about Donna, I'm talking about you. And things still go awry. For instance, my eldest son is estranged from me. Donna's son is estranged from him. Does that make me a bad parent? No. But I'll tell you this right now. Now more than ever, I see it clearly that what I tried to do with my own children is to find out who they were, accept who they were, and be who they were, no matter who they were. And to have faith in them, allow them to leave the nest and do the best they know how to do, be there to be supportive emotionally with them. If there was an emergency and it was a financial emergency, yes, I was there for my sons and will continue to be there for my sons. But the bottom line is that, am I saying that because Robert and Charlie and Wendi what's worked out for them? Look at Wendi. She's under investigation. The state of Florida is focused in on her. Folks, Fancy Nancy says, KJ, your tough love was the best thing you could have ever done. And Donna Adelson did not know what tough love was because it wasn't because she wasn't given the opportunity for it. Every time her children, these are my opinions, I can't prove it. Every time her children tried to assert themselves, to try to say this is who they were, she cut it off at the pass. And we'll go into that. But right now, y'all, we're going into the analysis. Y'all, I could have recapped Wendi and Rob's testimony the other day like everyone else. But folks, I'm not going to sell you short. I'm going to show you and I'm going to demonstrate my line of thinking. You don't have to agree with it, but I want to show you who I am, and I want to show you that I took the time and effort
to look at Wendi and Robert's testimony on direct and cross-examination and just throw it out there. Because ultimately, y'all, it really comes down to you. Ray, research, analysis, and what, y'all? You. And I'm going to start out with you. Kathy Benadero says, I was gripped when Robert said that not one single Adelson was ever curious in finding out who killed Dan Markell. That was revealing. The Bethy Boop says, this trial adds a new layer from Charlie's trial where I had a hard time understanding how they would implicate Donna. Those emails really show intent and Donna's thoughts. Robert is truthful and still being dragged through their crap. Wendi is looking worse with all the emails and may have been caught lying, impeached. Jennifer Sukup says, I feel sorry for Robert, but I'm also proud of him. I found his testimony interesting and he didn't have all the memory issues that Goofy seems to have. It may be wishful thinking, but me thinks that Wendi is going down. At first, she just looked benzoid out, but after the defense attorney started to ask hard questions, she looked mad, rattled, and I bet she left that courthouse so fast that she had a vapor trail behind her. Cook Goose in Florida says, it was very difficult testimony to watch. I believe the brother has been fully traumatized by his family criminal enterprise. He was so believable. She's talking about Robert, y'all. I think he could be a nail in Donna's coffin. Mary Sadler says, the entire family is not playing with a full deck. Poor Rob, but at least he got away. Donna has done so much harm. I'm guessing Wendi's hair tucking is 73, and we'll get to that real soon, y'all. Hope Grace says, bummer. I was listening while driving for some of it. 22 times on the cross-examination talking about Wendi putting her hair behind her ear. The cross-examination, I thought, cast more shade on Wendi at times and definitely attempted to distance Donna from the conspiracy. I think the emails are difficult to get around. However, the defense did try to cast reasonable doubt, and I would say that it's still not looking good for her today. Okay, y'all, these comments. Without your comments, I could not have come on tonight. I guarantee you that. Let me just be clear with you. I am the type of person that I want to form my own thoughts and opinions. But on this channel, research, analysis, and what, y'all, it matters to OKJ. And it does help me. It doesn't mean that I sign up for it. It doesn't mean that I agree. But it does mean that you make a difference. Your voice will be heard. Also, she says, Hope Grace says, I went back and watched, and I counted about 58 on direct in terms of Wendi taking her hair behind her ear, and about 22 times on cross-examination. On the one side, she would do two in succession, and then one on the other side. About 5 or 6 sips of water during direct. Also, I think it was contagious because the prosecutor started to do it as well. I started counting hers. Not too many, though. She did a lot of blinking in terms of Wendi. Donna looked broken during her testimony, almost resigned to the outcome. Now, let me just be clear. I said on the community wall, tell me how many times Wendi put her hair behind her ear. Folks, the point was not about body language. It was about you paying attention. How many times, as OKJ says, just look, just think. And I remember early on in the channel, people said, don't tell me to think. Well, I'll tell you this right now. As many of the Rays and people that I love dearly who aren't Rays, but who really are in sync there, they know that OKJ is going to bring this out, that I'm going to talk about these things. And, if you don't agree or if you disagree or anything like that, that's fine. I honor that. I respect that. I've never went against anyone in the comments. Somebody put it in the comments right now that I've ever put anything derogatory about anyone's opinions or anything else. The bottom line is this. On this channel, it is about justice through understanding. It is about you being the only you're ever going to be, and I can't be that. And I can't come up with all the answers. And you can help me. Does it mean that everyone that comments, I'm going to believe every damn thing they say? No. But you lead me down those roads of discovery. You give me pause. You give me time to think. It's what it's all about, folks. Anyone can recap the Donna Adelson trial, but why not look a little further? Why not see it for what it is? Not what I say it is, not what you say it is, but what it is, whatever that may be. Then you have Ban Me, who says, I feel so bad for Robert, losing his parents and siblings because his mom was so controlling. I can understand wanting the best for your kids, but Donna clearly only wanted what she thought was best for who, y'all? Herself. Excellent comments. Rita Lou says, Robert's testimony I found sad. Jean P. says, I was surprised when Rob testified. He told Donna they arrested the man who murdered Dan, and she said she had to go, and they never spoke again since that phone call was very telling who Donna is. A cold-hearted, maniacal, crazy person, says Jean P. Cindy Arnold says, his testimony broke my heart, talking about Robert Adelson. And Tiddlewit, Wendi got on my last nerve. Entitled much? Is she preparing to get her one-way ticket to Vietnam? Folks, I asked you all how many times did Wendi put her hair behind her ear. Maybe I should have been more specific. Should I said tuck it behind her ear or whatever? But let me tell you what. I want you to try this on for size. Anytime Wendi Adelson went like this and it went behind her ear. It didn't have to be tucked. It just needed to be behind her ear. On direct examination, 73 times. On cross, 46 times, for a grand total of 119 times that Wendi Adelson put her hair behind her ear. And folks, the point I'm trying to make, and many of you already know this, there are two reasons why a woman plays with her hair. Number one, she's nervous as F. And number two, she's trying to show her beauty. So maybe, just maybe, a little bit of the both. What do you think, y'all? Leanne Forsberg says, whoa, nervous. 119 times, says Carrie Richards. LOL. Fancy Nancy says, no. Fancy Nancy also says, wowzers. Now, let's transition, because y'all know that I could have came to y'all the evening of Wendi and Rob Adelson's testimony, but folks, I wasn't going to sell you short. I was going to think about what was going on. I was going to think about what was said. And these are all my views. These are all my opinions. And I wanted to come to y'all with the best that I could possibly come to in terms of Wendi Adelson's testimony and Robert Adelson's testimony. As I listened to Wendi Adelson on the Tallahassee Democrat, I was watching the comments. I would love to take credit for these comments, but there was a Q-Dubs G, and I'm going to say it again, K-Dubs G, who said this, and I could not help but give this K-Dubs G credit and allow it here on this channel. The family's eyes. Donna has wicked, manipulative eyes. Harvey has angry eyes. Charlie has deceitful, lying eyes. Wendi has cheating eyes. And Robert has sad eyes. And when I read that, I wanted to share it with all of you on this channel. No, I did not come up with that, and I wished I could have. But K-Dubs G was eloquent. I will always give credit where credit is due. But in Donna and Charlie's jail phone calls after his conviction, Charlie talks about the coincidence of Wendi buying bullet bourbon the day Dan Markel was shot dead by bullets. Was the TV repair guy a coincidence? The day Dan Markel is murdered just so happens to be the day a TV repair guy was at Wendi's house. A tasteless joke about a TV being cheaper than a hitman. Donna saying on the wiretap, this TV will be about $5. Was the TV repair guy Wendi's alibi as the state contends? What if? What if the state is holding back the testimony of the TV repair guy for when Wendi is prosecuted? Did he see her crying or stressed? Did he overhear her talking to anyone on the phone? Wendi took a call from Charlie at 9:30 a.m. that morning for 18 minutes. The repair guy would have been there. Why would it take an hour? An hour for a repair that never happened? On cross-examination of Wendi, Jackie Fulford went over the online TV repair that Harvey set up, Since when has Harvey set up any appointment? Donna took care of everything. The online creation order date. Now let's stop there. The online creation of the order date. That means someone went online, created the order, was on July the 11th of 2014. They requested it for the 18th. They did. They requested the 18th of July, and it just so happens that Dan Markel was murdered on that day. Dan was murdered. Dan was murdered 7 days after the creation of that work order. Is that a coincidence? The defense wants to point out that the repair order was asked questions about, would you be willing to accept an earlier date for repair if one was available? And it was answered yes. They would accept a repair date from the Geek Squad earlier than July 18th. Well, was the defense trying to imply that there was no set date for a plan to kill Dan Markel? Well, the repair date was set for the 18th, and it worked out that the Geek Squad didn't come sooner. But had they come sooner, I'm sure the hitman could have come any time. And in fact, there's evidence that they came in June and didn't carry it out. These damn people, they want to talk about, Jackie Barber want to talk about, well, because they would accept an earlier date. Well, if Donna would have had her way, Dan Markel would be murdered in June. So, did Wendi have to have the alibi of a TV repairman coming to her house, the Geek Squad? One thing is for damn sure. That TV wasn't going to cost $5, right? Right? What about Harvey's 70th birthday? We're switching gears here. What about Harvey's 70th birthday party? Was it really supposed to be a surprise? Or was the surprise part code? Added because Donna is telling Charlie to come through for her about Dad's present. Erase Dan Markel as she's telling Charlie to erase this text message, huh? Was it just a coincidence that the day after Charlie's conviction, Donna is seeking a fast-track one-way ticket, emergency visa to Vietnam? In pre-trial hearing, she says she just wanted peace. She just wanted peace. Well, there were talks of suicide, estate planning. She is going to talk about suicide and her last will and testament because Charlie got convicted. Think about that. Let me repeat that. She is going to talk suicide and her last will and testament because Charlie got convicted. Give me a break. Give me a break, y'all. I guess it's a coincidence when Charlie sat on the wiretap to Katie. If they had the evidence, we would have already gone to the airport. Who is the we, y'all? Who is the we? And Katie and Charlie would run away? Think about that. Does that mean Katie's kids would be going with them? Or perhaps Charlie meant Donna and Harvey and himself were the we. You think Charlie is going to run away without some real financial backing? Everyone knows it's not a coincidence that Wendi changed her children's name to the Adelsons a year after Dan's death, legally, right? She was so afraid. She got on the stairs. She's so afraid, so she changed it to Adelson instead of Markel. Because as testified by Wendi herself, she and her mother were using the Adelson name for her children's school within months of Dan Markel's murder. Yes, the defense pointed out that school registration was Markel, but think about it, y'all. Could Wendi have put Adelson on a registration for school? That would have not been right. You've got to use the legal name. You've got to use the legal name. Oh, Wendi wanted it to be Markel. No, Wendi did not want it to be Markel. But she had to give her child's legal name. But Wendi and her mother wanted the children to be socially known. Socially known as Adelson. Or, whether it was a school desk or a flag football. Oh, she's so scared, ain't she? She's so scared. There are killers out there. No one seems to be saying that Wendi Adelson, his ex-wife, the murdered man's ex-wife, and Dan's children could be in danger. Nobody ever says that. There's no text message. There's no wiretap. There's nothing, no email, nothing saying those children are in danger. And you know why? The Adelson name was safe with the killers. That's a fact, y'all. Because the Adelson's money enriched the killers with a payoff and all those ongoing gifts from Charlie to Katie. And whatever Charlie gave to Katie, you can be sure that was also a benefit to Sigfredo Garcia. All of these coincidences and non-coincidences. And what does that make Robert Adelson? Is it a coincidence that Wendi lied to Robert in a text message about Jeffrey Lacoste being a secret boyfriend she was keeping from her parents? Y'all, you know what I got out of that? Was it normal for the siblings throughout their upbringing to hide things from Donna for fear of retribution? Donna knows best. Or Donna reared her children to believe that? Well, as I go through my thoughts of Wendi's testimony, I can tell you right now that it wasn't a coincidence that Georgia Kappelman was ready to refresh Wendi's memory when it came to Donna Sue's trial. Lessons had to be learned. And Georgia has honed and tweaked her direct examination of Wendi. And folks, it's not a coincidence that Wendi's memory issues seem to plague her when it implicates her in any way, if she is seen in a bad light. I don't remember paying the TV repair guy, but it's possible that I did. Y'all think about that. Just think about her saying that on the stand. I don't remember paying the TV repair guy, but it's possible I did. Give me a break, y'all. She would know either way if she paid him cash or check or anything else. It's pathetic. It is not a coincidence that Wendi said, I didn't have the settlement money from Dan to buy a house in Tallahassee. Quote, it was impossible. She said on the stand these exact words, and yet she didn't have the money. And yet Donna used her maiden name. Donna herself used her maiden name, moved money around, and helped Wendi with a rental home. You think Donna couldn't afford to help Wendi purchase a Tallahassee house? Donna didn't want Wendi in Tallahassee, period. Was it a coincidence that while Wendi was on the stand answering questions about an email that Georgia put up on the screen about how Donna told Wendi, quote, obviously, I pretended to be you, concerning something that was going on with Wendi. And as the questions were asked about Donna pretending to be Wendi, y'all go back and look at it. Wendi picked up her bottled water on the stand and took a sip, and the camera immediately went to Donna, and Donna immediately picks up her bottled water to drink it at the same time that they're talking about Donna pretending to be Wendi. Whoa! Whoa! If that isn't a coincidence, then it sure as hell looks like a criminal, evil omen. Just like the caterer. The caterer, y'all, for Dad's 70th birthday party. Wendi pretty much says it all when asked about the paella, right? Or the paella or whatever it's called. Wendi says, quote, no, I didn't pay for anything. And Wendi didn't pay for anything. Wendi didn't pay for anything to take Dan Markel out. In my opinion, it was Donna and Charlie and Harvey. Well, folks, in the middle of Wendi's testimony on direct, the camera actually shows Harvey asleep, and I hope some of y'all caught that. Harvey actually was sitting in the bench in the gallery there. His head was down. He was asleep in the middle of his daughter's testimony. With his head slumped over, this was all Donna, and perhaps she told Harvey after the shit hit the fan, but I don't believe Harvey was an active co-conspirator before the murder. I don't. And you know, y'all know how many times I've been wrong, but I don't believe Harvey knew beforehand. I think there came a point where Donna had to tell Harvey. Too much evidence of Charlie and Donna saying, y'all, not to tell Dad. And maybe he was involved, but the state has to look at that and see there is too much that Harvey Adelson didn't know. Could Harvey be charged with accessory after the fact? Yes, absolutely. I believe it. I believe Harvey and Donna went to Charlie's. We're outside your house. Charlie came to their house. Charlie and Donna did not, we're just here to see you, Charlie. And Harvey didn't know that Donna was going to give Charlie the money. I believe at that point it was really what happened. I guess the bigger question is, and I want the race to think about this, why didn't the state call Harvey in Charlie's or Donna's trial? Now, I know Dan Rashbaum, excuse me, y'all. I get all these names mixed up. Dan Rashbaum fought very hard for Harvey to not have to be a witness, okay? So there's something that, you know, we can go back and forth about. But why not call him? Why not call Harvey as a defense witness in either trial? Why wasn't Harvey there to take up for his son Charlie? Why isn't Harvey going to be a defense witness? And y'all know he's not, because he's sitting in court every day, y'all. He can't be in there while testimony is going on. So he is not a witness to any of this. That's why Harvey is visiting the Vietnamese vivacious sites and wearing the leather jackets and smiling and all this and that, because when Donna goes to prison, Harvey's going to have some youngins, some young women, you know. Harvey's going to finally live it out. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Harvey's going to be pushing it and cushioning it and all that good stuff. If he was going to testify, he wouldn't be sitting in court watching or sleeping. And as far as the cross of Wendi by Jackie Fulford, the nasty emails were never shared with Danny, says Jackie. But he knew. Oh, like that is supposed to, Jackie Fulford saying to Wendi, well, you know, those nasty emails that Donna and Wendi were talking about, Dan didn't know nothing about them. Let me tell you something. When those children were going home to Daddy, Abba, and saying, Grandma hates you, you're trying to take her sunshines away, you're stupid, and all this stuff. You think Dan Markel didn't know the sentiments of Donna Adelson? And then Jackie brings up the good times with Wendi and Danny at the beginning, before Wendi had children, and Donna and Harvey, all of them together, the zip line and all this stuff. And Donna sits at the defense table looking all emotional. Yeah, emotional, thinking, look where I'm at. That's the only thing she could be emotional about. It isn't because Donna has these fond memories of Dan Markel and Wendi in the beginning of their marriage. Donna's not thinking about how she approved of Dan Markel, and as soon as Wendi got, I don't know, PMS or whatever the hell Wendi got, to leave Dan Markel, Donna was right there with Wendi. The defense wanted to bring out that threatening Dan Markel with converting his kids to Catholics isn't as cruel as actually doing it. This is what Jackie Fulford wants the jury to believe. Like Donna really didn't want Wendi to put her kids through that. Well, folks, when Donna is talking about the evidence showing that they could dress up like pirates and all this stuff, that, my friend, shows you clearly that Donna didn't give a rat's ass of whether her grandchildren dressed up in Nazi uniforms. You know what I'm saying? And finally, this line of questioning from the defense that was so jumbled up, y'all. Do y'all remember this? It's like tossing a salad against a moving merry-go-round. This letter Wendi wrote to her friend Renee, April 25th of 2013, where she wants to keep her job in Tallahassee, and that Wendi was going to be on a graduation stage with Dan because all staff had to attend, and that Donna would watch the boys, meaning that Donna, this is what Jackie Fulford wanted to come out, that Donna was always there to help Wendi. But what I got out of it, and I'm sure the jurors got out of it, and I'm sure you did, got out of it that Wendi was wanting to stay in Tallahassee, and Donna was tired of helping Wendi. It was so inconveniencing to Donna, which, by the way, is brought out in Donna's emails to Wendi, gaslighting her about all the travel Donna and Ari had to do, the lost income, and all this bullshit. June 4th of 2013, Wendi says in a letter she doesn't want to live in South Florida. Why would Jackie Fulford bring this up? It shows that Wendi didn't want to do what Donna wanted her to do. Whether that's true or not, that's what it looks like. What the hell does this prove? And finally, the Jackie Fulford gotcha moment, y'all. The gotcha moment from Jackie Fulford that really wasn't a gotcha moment, about how Wendi knew about the stipulation she entered into after relocation was denied with prejudice. I'm not quite sure what Jackie's trying to elicit here, other than to say that because Wendi didn't tell her mom immediately that day, Wendi did tell her mother that she didn't win relocation, but Jackie Fulford's like, you didn't tell her that it was a done deal or nothing. That somehow Wendi was waiting for Donna to come up with something to help her? I don't understand where Jackie Fulford's going with this. Or that Donna wouldn't have said those nasty things? Well, folks, the state absolutely verified that Donna did know about the permanent nature of the orders 5 days later, when she was belly aching to some friends of her, Donna was. So I'm really not sure what the point of all that was. I think Jackie Fulford, being a former judge, whether you think she was a good judge or not, she just fell all over herself and could not. It was like discombobulated. It was not succinct, in my opinion. And y'all, I'm not an attorney. I did study pre-law in college. I do have a double minor in psychology, and my major was political science. But by God, y'all, I don't know what the hell she was trying to prove a point to the jury about it, any of that. Other than to say that, Donna wanted Jackie to make Wendi look innocent. I mean, that's the only thing I could say. Or that Wendi was an instigator in all of this, that Wendi was the damsel in distress that the state brought up. Think about that, y'all. Think about whether Donna, through Wendy's upbringing, always made it a point to make Wendi feel like she needed Donna or Charlie or anyone else other than Wendi to solve her own problems. Folks, I'm the last person that would ever pass judgment on anyone raising their children. People have a right to raise their children how they're going to raise them. And just because children turn out the way that they do doesn't mean that they're a bad parent. But when you look at the empirical evidence of how Donna Adelson was, what she was about, her actions, the things she did, am I supposed to see it in a positive light? Am I supposed to see it any other way? You know, I've always said, y'all, you walk into a store, you look over and you see somebody putting a candy bar in their pocket without paying for it and walking out. Is it judging them to call them a thief? That's for you to decide. What I want to make clear to y'all is that they had lots of wiretaps today. They had testimony yesterday. Y'all, I'm just catching up because I want to give this case some room for thought. I want to hear from you. And I appreciate all of y'all being here. Please put it in the comments, things that I missed or got wrong. Educate me. Let me see it through your eyes. Research and analysis and you is all about justice through understanding. Make no mistake, y'all. This case is heartbreaking. It shows the destruction of the family. Oh, KJ hates that. I try to bring a smile in this situation because Donna Adelson brought it upon herself. Pure and simple. She has not a prayer, in my opinion. But then again, there might be one juror out there that wants to give her a pass. You know what I'm saying? So leave your comments. I love you all. I want you to know that I'm never going to do anything half-ass. And maybe it's not enough. Maybe you can learn more from others. And that's where I send you to. Go to anyone and everyone who can give you their point of view. And then you work it out. You work it out with your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own perspective, with just a little help from others. So with that being said, I love you all. The Journey to Justice says, I have to watch on the replay. I like a good LOL. You're the best, KJ. Thank you so much. Trevor LeBeck says, sorry I missed you. Trevor LeBeck, take care. Love and blessings to everyone, says Hope Grace. Thank you, Hope Grace. Just me, Fancy Nancy. Hello, Harley62. I love you all. I've always done this to give of myself. Nothing in return other than just you sharing yourself with me. That's all I want. So with that being said, y'all have a great evening. Leave your comments. Help me. Help me. We'll get together real soon. We'll get through the rest of the week, maybe Saturday night, right? And with that being said, I love you and keep on looking.